very oldie Saint Nick Canadian Rye Whiskey.
Yeah.
Right? You do pronounce the E, right?
In America, we do. Sarcasm.
I guess we're keeping the Canadian week going.
Well, let's try this ancient 8-year-old whiskey.
Welcome back to Brolic Whiskey. I'm Metahuman Dave.
Just Mike at you.
And yeah, I guess we're keeping Canadian flowing. By the way, if you guys are new to this channel, we always review our whiskeys 3 different ways. First way is neat. We'll give you a score before moving on with a couple of drops of water. Give you another score before moving on to ice. If that's something that interests you. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the little bell icon to get notified of new videos. We try to upload every week. Try is the key word.
Well,
So, very old Saint Nick. It's a rare rye whiskey. How do I know that? The label tells me it's rare. Oh, it's also ancient cask 8-year-old. I don't know how those two words go together, ancient and 8 years old, but alright. I could give you some facts on this bottle, but after doing my research on this, I'm just going to tell you, I feel it's a bunch of bullshit. So I'm just going to give you the sarcastic synapse version of what I've learned.
do it.
This is by a company that's based out of California. So it's owned by people in California. They source their whiskeys. This particular one is from Alberta Distilleries up in Canucktown, and they send it down to Bardstown in Kentucky to get bottled. So obviously nothing's been really done by this dude over in California, but he likes to name drop.
Okay.
So he has some connections to the old Julian Van Winkle III, which is obviously Happy Van Winkle and all that lineage. Has nothing to do with them at all. They have nothing to do with each other though. Heaven Hill was another name he used to drop, but no more. Lots of name dropping involved is the bottom line. That's why I don't feel like I need to really give him a true background on who he is. Anyway, this particular bottle is retail $150. Retail. It's bottled at 41.4%. That is a super low ABV to have that type of price tag. This was given to me by someone who feels shamed for buying it. We did crack it open at his house recently.
Don't feel shamed. Who is it?
You know what? It actually smells pretty nice on the nose.
You like it?
On the nose, at least.
I don't like it. Initially, it has a nice aroma, but the deeper the inhale you get, I think the worse it gets. Initially, on the nose, it's nice.
It is a very, very light whiskey. I do get vanilla, very predominant on that. This is supposed to be
dominant.
Almost a rye. This is supposed to be a rye whiskey, but I don't get any hints. I don't get any of the drying effect. I don't get any of the menthol. I don't get anything that tells me it's a rye. So remember, in Canada, there is no law saying how much has to actually be in there to be called a rye whiskey. So this could be just a few percentage and still be a rye. Mouthfeel is kind of oily for something so low ABV.
It's actually got decent oil on it. I mean, you can see it on the glass. The color looks pretty good. It doesn't look fake. You know, it's a lighter gold color. I mean, like you said, big vanilla on the front. On the back end, I get a little bit of a black pepper type flavor. So not terribly enjoyable, unless you like black pepper. Pretty boring, to be honest with you.
You know, here's my thing. I like this.
Wow.
I actually really do like it. If it was $40. That's a big difference, right? It is I'm not going to shit on it and saying it's a gross whiskey. It's not. But retail is $150.
No.
It's a boutique whiskey company that has a lot of buzzwords that gets people to buy it. Obviously, name dropping things like Julian Van Winkle and stuff like that gets people buzzing.
Okay.
Knowing that it's rare, they're going to be like, all right, it's going to be worth something. You know, all these things. So people like the person who gave us this bottle might pay $250 for it.
So this is closer to a cash grab. They're just living on a name.
Oh, yeah.
Or someone else's name.
When I was trying to get any information on this whiskey, I saw that it was recently auctioned off in Europe because it was in pounds. It sold for 285 pounds. I don't know what the exchange rate is on that, but that still sounds like a lot of money for this bottle.
I think 285 pesos might be a lot for this bottle, to be honest
That's
with you.
mean.
It's boring. It's boring. You get one note in the front, one note in the back. Very slight tingle. Duration is mediocre. Not short, definitely not long.
It's a little creamy. Creamy, vanilla, you know, it's light. I would enjoy it if it was like a 40, maybe even a $50 bottle. I might even go that far because I do like it. But $150 to $300, what it's going for, that's just absurd. Obviously, we have to score this based off of flavor, not off of price. So if I'm tasting, just doing a taste of this, I'm gonna say it's a respectable 6. You know, it's a decent taste. But if I do include the price into it, this has to get dropped down to like a 2.
Mm-hmm.
But my score is a 6 out of 10 as far as flavor.
I'm going with 4.
4?
Yeah, it's boring.
Okay.
It is. It's boring. And if it was priced right, I might bump it to a 6. But definitely not priced right. Fly.
So now we move on to the second way that we always taste our whiskeys, which is going to be with a drop of distilled water on the nose.
Sweet.
Indeed.
Sweet.
But
And alcohol.
yeah, that's what I got. Was it
Yeah.
definitely opened up those alcohol phenols.
Yeah. That creates a little burn in the nostrils, huh?
Yep. So, we'll see what happens on the taste, though. It looks already like it's a little thinner.
God damn, look at you. Sweating like Michael Jackson at Little League games. Fuck.
Hopefully I could edit that into the video.
Holy shit, dude.
There's the win now. Now is another Michael Jackson moment where you can go, Yep, it is.
This is diluted. Vanilla's lightened up. It's still there, still at the beginning. Black pepper, slight wisp of it, and then it fades rather quickly. And then that's where that alcohol starts coming up.
Yeah.
And that finishes it. And yeah, it's not horrible, not enjoyable, and very boring.
I could see it as an easy, like, daily sipper type of whiskey if it was affordable like a daily sipper is supposed to be. It is light, like you said, it's pretty one note,
Yeah.
but it does that one note well. You know, it does a good job at being
Yeah.
a soft, light,
If you like vanilla.
vanilla, creamy,
like vanilla.
cookie type of
Okay.
whiskey. It's easy going. You know, it's unfortunately it does lose something with the water, so I'll drop it to like a 5.
Well, I wouldn't take it down that far. I'm gonna take it down just slightly under that 4, like a 3.8. The downside to me is that nasty alcohol at the back of it. If it's lighter, so what? I mean, it diluted it.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's still a good flavor. So, we ready to move on?
We are moving on to the last and final way for the very old
Cube.
8-year-old rye whiskey. Purchased on the secondary market for $250 by one of our very, very good friends of the show.
Can I know?
Is there any guess? I mean, does everybody who watches this show not know who it is by now?
So, good old Johnny bought on the secondary market, huh?
He said he had FOMO, so he was fearing that he was going to miss out on something very special.
You must be so embarrassed!
He actually did not even have this open. He was like, just take it home for the channel. And I was like, dude, at the very least, let's crack it open at your house and try it. So he said it's very similar to us. He was like, yeah, it's pretty simple. You know, it's not a $250 whiskey.
Well, it's different now. Ice did make it different. The nose is, I get a lot of ice cube. I'm getting too much ice cube.
Yeah. I can't smell anything
Yeah.
past the ice, but you know, it's still on point with what I was saying, which is it's a very light sipper. It's pretty decent. It still has a lot of vanilla forward flavors.
I'm not going to admit to a lot of vanilla. It is there. But,
No hints of rye.
no.
None.
The little bit of alcohol that's left goes to the front now with the vanilla, and the back end is empty. There's nothing on the back end.
It's getting hot. Would you really be disappointed with someone pouring you this over ice, chilling on outside by the pool?
No.
Picture the scenario. I mean,
No.
I see this as a good by the pool sipper. If I didn't know what this was, if this was a blind taste test, I absolutely would have thought this was like an Irish whiskey in line with like the Redbreast 12-ish type of whiskey.
Think so?
Where it's like, or maybe even something from the Cooley distillery where it's more like a twice distilled
I
type
know,
of
but
thing.
I
It's
just don't
creamy,
remember.
it's vanilla-y,
It's boring. I
and
don't
Irish
remember.
whiskey's boring to me.
I don't remember anything this boring. Yes, you can drink this. This would be comparable to drinking iced tea. That's how exciting it is. Unsweetened iced tea.
He's a little more harsh than me.
I
I
don't
actually
think so.
I
Iced
think
tea,
this is pretty
again,
enjoyable.
If you got iced tea, a nice cold glass of iced tea with ice cubes in it by the pool, you wouldn't complain, right?
Absolutely not. I'm probably going to have one right after we finish this recording. Well, not by a pool, 'cause I don't
I
have a
was
pool.
gonna say.
Unless I jump in with the ducks over there in the little kiddie pool that's filled with duck poop.
Yeah, it's pretty boring. I'm gonna stay at the 3.8 mark. It has a slight refreshment. Vanilla Coke, highly diluted.
That, to me, actually sounds like a pretty good description of a whiskey I would enjoy. So, I'm going to say it's better than the water. So, 5.5. Neat, I still think is the better way to go.
Neat is the most interesting way to go. So,
Not a bad whiskey if it
No.
was priced fairly.
I don't think
I
that
would
JB
like to
has
see
to worry
if
about it.
we could, if we can find out who this Alberta distillery company is, and buy the product directly from them without this fancy boutique-y label on it, we probably could get it for the $20 to $50 price range, and then it would be a good whiskey.
Maybe.
Because remember, they did nothing. They imported it in, they bottled it, and then they slapped their weird little label on it and made it rare. They did nothing to it.
Is the glass at least colored? Not covered?
It's
real
real
glass?
glass. It's
Way to go, California. Keeping it real.
If anyone out there knows anything about this bottle and can tell me if they know who actually produced the distillate, and let us know if we can purchase it under their own label, let us know, and we'll review that one as well.
That would be more interesting to me. That.
Hopefully you guys know and have purchased already. The Endgame DVD is now out. Avengers Endgame. Go buy it.
Wait for the set.
Alright.
Why? Wait for the set.
Anyway, Mike's got to hit him up with the trademark before we go.
Chopsticks.
We out.